Director for Detention Health, and I have the honor of spending this next 30 minutes with Dr. Datta talking about one of our favorite subjects, wellness. Without any further ado, I'm going to ask you the first question. And as you answer that, you can give us any other information you'd like the group to know about your background. But as you introduce yourself, please also start with some fun facts about yourself that you would like us to know.
Thank you, Dr. Sutherland, and thank you, Arlene Trimble, for this amazing opportunity to help people around. I joined Contra Health almost more than 2 years now, going into 3 years ago. And my training has been from Columbia Bassett Program in New York as a resident, and then fellowship at Mayo Clinic, Rochester, Minnesota. And my main focus was on dementia and behavioral neurology during fellowship, and have been practicing this and helping elderly as both as a clinician, as a community person since then. So it's been more than a decade of me doing this. My fun facts, actually, I'm pretty passionate about healthy aging. So I've given several conferences, both national and international, and have been invited by them to talk about healthy, mindful aging and eating. One of the things that I like to propagate and let people know is mindful eating, which is my own favorite topic. And I own a blog called Mindful Scoops. I started this in October of 2017 to help my patients understand the benefits of healthy eating. It's mostly done by means of recipes, quick, easy recipes with simple ingredients and health benefits of them. It's mostly just still on YouTube, online, and people can get information from that. Having been busy for the past couple of years, I haven't added any more recipes, but people are still looking at it and following some of the recipes. One funny fact is that I write funny poems for friends and family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now you know you're going to have to share a funny poem with us. You want to share now, or do you want to think about it a little bit?
I don't have one in hand, but it's mostly, it has to be, a person has to be funny enough to inspire me to take my pen and write limericks. And, I would say things which would just make people laugh. Sometimes when I talk to my patients, I crack jokes and they laugh and I laugh. And so it's like, I think humor is one of the best ways to kind of, diffuse a serious situation. So that's my go-to thing a lot of
Absolutely. I love it. Sounds good. So maybe in a future one of our newsletters, you'll be able to share a funny poem or something. We'll see down the line. So just tell us a little bit what inspired you
times.
to be a guest in our video podcast program.
Yeah, so it's really close to my heart to spread awareness about how impactful just very simple lifestyle tweaks could be. For instance, keeping a routine, eating early dinner to prevent GERD and have a good night's sleep. And these simple lifestyle tweaks could be also used in prevention and treatment of age-related comorbidities and chronic conditions. And I don't know who mentioned it to me, but I just happened to tell them that this is something, and then I got invited to this forum. But I believe, and I strongly practice, and I prophesize to my patients as well, is that very small tweaks, regularity, and being consistent in daily lifestyle changes can make huge difference in a lot of ailments that people go through starting early in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Um, so turning the corner again, tell us what's on your playlist right now that you play on your way to work. A lot of advice for all of us, but tell us a little bit about uh, either your playlist or what are you reading right now?
Yeah. So playlists, I'm pretty boring. I just hear KQED every day. I'm
Oh my
driving.
goodness.
Or if it's too much of news to take in, I just hear some simple chants from, mantras or chants to
Okay.
calm myself down. Or if it's too much traffic, I would do that. But you'll find it funny, but I read multiple books at the same time. Like my daughter always like, how do you take so much time to read that one book? Because I read a few books at the same time, like a couple pages of this and that. So the one that I'm reading right now, I got it with me. It's a really funny, and I recommend. This is the Big Fat Indian, my sister's Big Fat Indian Wedding. It's super
Okay.
funny, and actually, it was to me, it was prescribed by my 15-year, 16-year-old daughter. That's a funny one. And then I'm also reading a few days in a week. I read or I'm rereading The Power of Now. This is one of the books that actually changed my life, and I keep going back to it to understand it better. I believe it's by Kurt Coleman. And then the other one that is always on my nightstand is the ancient Hindu scripture. It's called Bhagavad Gita. It has a lot of teachings for life, and I read maybe like 3 or 4 nights before going to bed. I just wanted to add something to reading. Um, is there's a lot of research that shows that people who have anxiety, insomnia, or even any sort of stress-related disorders, just reading 7 minutes at night, 7 minutes, that's all it takes to help a person calm down. And it's intentful reading, meaning you read it, you try to understand it, not just superficially turn pages. And there's research behind this, and there's people have invested enough to say, well, this is something that you need to do to have a better night's sleep if you are really struggling with insomnia. So I have a struggle with it, and I really find it powerful to do this practice each night, and not only to gain more knowledge, but just to have a little bit more of restfulness and ease the day towards the end.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I love it. That's a tip that I will definitely be using this afternoon as
Mhm,
I'm talking to some of
mhm.
the patients. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
that's a win for me. I've check box there. Um, do you have a favorite quote or a motto or a
Uh-huh.
song that reflects your wellness journey?
Yeah, a big one and a powerful one for me was, and I repeatedly say this to myself. It's I don't know how many of you are familiar with Buddhism and the quote of Buddhism, but this is like the one sentence that describes what Buddha said is desire is the cause of all misery. So in a sense, it's like just a sense of Buddhism. And also another version of this is don't get attached to the results, just keep performing your good karma. And this is from Bhagavad Gita. So I keep reminding myself of these. And it's my favorite quote for my kids or my family sermons.
Okay. You said keep performing your good karma, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, great. Uh, love it. Thank you. Um, so can you share maybe a pivotal moment in your wellness journey that really shifted your perspective?
Hmm.
I hear you that this has been, sounds like a major part of your career as well
Hmm.
as your life, but maybe you could
Hmm.
share a pivotal moment that kind of
Yeah.
brought that more into the forefront.
I want to go back to when pandemic started, and this also answers your questions about resilience and pandemic, the last but one question. So I was really at that time sick with COVID, and I possibly had long COVID, and these are the times when people did not know how to treat it or how to even go about it. Months and months I was suffering, working, but at the same time I was like, no, I've got to deal with this. No one else will. I need to do that.
Mhm.
And I had practiced a lot before, and this is what I'm talking about mindfulness. But that is when I kept reminding myself, this is how I need to take one moment at a time. Mindful meaning be in the moment, just invest in the moment. And that was a turning point. And since then, even though I was practicing it before, but all of us as humans, we kind of need reminders. And I kept forgetting that this is what I need to tell myself. So, two things I did: I started practicing gratitude each morning and mindfulness through the day. It's not easy. You do it once, and you're like, next day, the same thoughts come to you, right?
Right.
So, what really I consciously did was not only when I was talking to my patients, I would be in the moment 100%, but I would tell that this is one of the best ways to deal with anything that's surrounding you and that's bothering you, whether it's health, whether it's stress, and health and stress are related, right? Or
Right.
whether it's just worries about the future. And again, all of this are related. Um, so again, I explained to them that mindfulness is, in a sense, second of meditation, a second of meditation. What it really means: if you're washing your hands, you're looking at the bubbles, you're enjoying the bubbles. Or if you're, just combing your hair, you're making sure that you're combing your hair and not thinking about what's going to be in my day. So that really emphasized, and maybe it was meant to be, and it emphasized that, hey, take it seriously, practice as much as possible. The more you do, the better it gets. And if at this moment, I just make sure every day I have a few moments in the day where I remind myself, and all of us need to be reminded. Yeah.
Well, excellent. I think we're going to go on to a different topic.
Mhm,
In terms of, I've heard a lot about what you've experienced, what you're sharing
mhm,
with others, but do you have any thoughts on sort of community care and
mhm,
wellness practices that
mhm,
can help to prevent burnout or stress
mhm,
on a
mhm.
larger scale, if you will?
Yeah. So for a very long time, I have, when I deal with my patients, a C, what's called is, the term has been changing, loneliness to social isolation. I see a lot. And dealing with elderly, that's a commonplace happening. I cannot tell you,
Right,
like, in a day how many times I see that.
right,
And this is all supported by research, and all the new research that came out in the past 5 years. It says there's a lot of power. There's umpteen number of research proving that social connections, community giving, group activities greatly, greatly help not only in preventing mental illnesses, but also dementia and also slowing down aging. Um, Basically, all of those are related to mental health, burnout, any of us. When it makes me really happy when I'm walking my daily walk and I see people walking in groups or
right.
social interaction. So three things that are very powerful. So social activity, cognitive activity, these are related, right? You can see if you're interacting socially, you're making connections and neurons in your brain. So this is interconnected. And that in turn leads to more of connections. And you could also be prompted to do more physical activity. So I strongly believe in powerful community connection. And if you go back to olden days, people had a routine, right? Like they would meet every evening or they would meet every Sunday in a church or a temple. And those things were so powerful. And over time, with the advent of these screens and digital world, we are forgetting all that. So I want people to be aware that how this can be so powerful and going back to that.
I love it. People always talk about, does your family sit down and eat dinner together, right?
Mhm,
Because of all
mhm.
the busy lives, busy activities, screens,
Right.
just a
Mhm,
bunch of stuff and things that were very
mhm.
basic. And
Right.
no one ever questioned, this may be a double decker, not doing that in the past, right? In the olden days, as you say,
Right.
until who knows when the olden days ended. But
Mhm.
yeah, so this is really important. I love what you're saying. And definitely some things not only for our aging population, but
Mhm.
even in our work groups.
Right.
Connecting, even
Mhm.
having lunch together
Mhm.
in the break room, all those kind
Right.
of things can help us to stay
Right.
connected.
Right.
Yeah,
Or even if it's a Zoom meeting like this, right? You're seeing
right.
people interact, and you're giving opinions. Your mental uh, connections are made, and then you get inspired to do something. That,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So, um, how do you handle navigate life challenges?
Hmm.
Um, Even part B is what is your go-to reset button?
Yeah, a great question. And there's a lot of introspection when I read about this question, and I'm like, what do I really do? And then I realized that, before entering each room, because my job entails a lot of going back into people's history and asking them about their trauma,
Uh-huh.
and the kind of care I give is more a lot about trauma informed care, because that has impact later in life, especially when people are aging, they're lonely, and they get dementia. So it can be heavy. Each meeting with a patient can be really heavy, and it can change the way you're thinking or you're feeling for that day. And having multiple interactions like this. So what I practice before going in the room, and I call it my reset button, is just simple. It's like just a few breaths of in and out, deep breath. It's called minute meditation, or you may call it anything you like mindfulness or just deep breathing. But it sort of clears the head for the next challenge. And an easy way, and I could demonstrate it to you, is basically it's sort of a form of meditation or yoga, but the thumb over here and pressing one nostril and the finger here. So you breathe through one nostril, 1, 2, 3, 4, then hold 1, 2, 3, 4, then exhale through the other nostril. So it's something like that. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's a form of meditation. It's called pranayama in yoga. It's sort of a vinyasa in yoga, but super helpful. It just clears your brain. And there is science behind that. Why do you inhale for this much time? Why do you hold it? And why do you exhale? Because that holding of breath expands our lungs, and we want as much aeration as possible. At the same time, it helps our brain kind of calm down and stimulates our parasympathetic nervous system, which is mostly responsible for calming us down.
Wonderful. Great. I know we're having a couple of questions. Let me see. I just have a couple more. Let me see here. Well, it's interesting. This is 2025, soon to be 2026. The pandemic started in 2020, but we're still dealing with COVID. Of course, it's a hot
Mhm,
topic now, the whole vaccine.
mhm,
We're not,
mhm,
but in terms of how do you foster and build meaningful post-pandemic resilience and transformation?
mhm,
You
mhm,
even mentioned your experience with being
mhm,
very ill with COVID.
mhm, mhm,
Thoughts about that as we
mhm.
continue to move beyond
Yeah,
quotations COVID? Mhm.
yeah. Connections. So just
Mhm.
connections that could be like second of eye contact, very intentful, right?
Mhm.
And it sounds like, okay, why do I need it? But the body and the mind feel so calm after it. All it means is asking anybody, my patient, how are you feeling today? How's your day so far? Rather than getting to business first, right? So it's more being coming out of my doctor's skin and being the person's skin. And it could be with anybody, right? Your kids, family, you're talking to an Uber driver, or just my favorite questions: how's your day today? And being intentful, making that even a second of connection. For me, it's very powerful. And you will not believe it, but it helps me more than anybody else. It's like you might think they're thinking that they're important, but it's like a two-way process. Not only does it help the other person, but it helps me also build that connection. I think it's very powerful.
Wonderful. Um, Let me see here. What is one
Mm.
takeaway from our conversation that you would like the audience to remember
Mhm.
and prioritize?
Yes. And you had asked me also in your questions that, one takeaway, I'll make it really simple. You
Okay.
are what you eat, which means nourish your mind, body, soul, and surroundings, right? So either it's gratitude, mindfulness, and eat doesn't mean you're just feeding yourself. It's physical and metaphysical, right?
Mhm.
What thought goes in your brain, what your what your intents are, feeding yourself with thoughts in addition to actual food, and that just kind of resonates around in the surroundings too.
Wonderful. Let's see what questions we have, and then we can always go back. Let me see here. I thought someone popped a question in. Here's one. What do you do if an elderly loved
Mhm.
one lost
Mhm.
interest, passion, and
Mhm.
zest in life? Like
Mhm.
she does not want to attend social events, does not want to watch soap
Mhm.
operas
Mhm.
that she used to be
Mhm.
passionate about.
Mhm. Yeah, this is for me. It's like every day happening with my patients, and what
Mhm.
I tell the caregivers that it's sometimes we need to acknowledge it, but not keep repeating it to the person involved, like because it gives them a negative feedback. So what really helps is, say, if it's my mom, I would just do it with her. Like, for example, if I had to tell her, do these new knee exercises every day, and it's not done, I'll just sit down and do it with her. Or I tell my patients, caregivers that, if you do them, again, it all comes down to community and connection and people around. That's one thing. The other thing is positive feedbacks all through it. Even a small win should not be taken as for granted. The power of positive feedback, and especially when it's an elderly loved one, is because they have been through a lot their life. They've seen it, they've done it. Now they don't need things like that would not, that would negate whatever they've done. So even small positive feedback, yay, hooray, high fives, all of
Yeah,
these.
that's great. Let me see. Are there any other questions?
Uh,
Uh,
Dr. Sutherland, Dr. Dada, what's the name of the book for the ancient Hindu scriptures?
Oh, it's called Gita. It's called Bhagavad Gita. It comes in many different languages and it has phrases and then explanations. So Gita.
Is it the Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
yeah, I think we have a couple of more minutes. I'm going to go back to sort of future, forecasting the future.
Mhm. Mhm.
And what is the one evolving wellness trend or technology you
Mhm.
believe is going to reshape how we live in a few
Mhm.
years in
Mhm.
today's fast-paced world?
Great question. And the answer is quite paradoxical. We are going to go back to our roots. That's one thing I feel is coming. Why? Because as more and more people are being overwhelmed by technology, just going back to the roots and the ancient routine of eating healthy, walking, just simple things, right? Eat early dinner, eat with your family, have a routine. For some people, it could be meditation. For others, it could be whatever they believe in, right? Going back to the old routine of how pure and let's say timely our ancient people were. They were so smart. I just feel like they were just so smart that they had a routine. They would eat on time, eat lunch on time, dinner on time, and free of so many diseases. And longevity was good. So I think it's going to go back, not now, not in the near future, but yes, sometime in the future.
That's interesting. I think about, in the middle of the pandemic and just how so many people went out to parks, the bike riding, the gatherings. I know our family and our extended family,
Mhm.
we were every Saturday out
Mhm.
there riding bikes,
Mhm.
and it was great.
Right.
Something that was easy to do,
Mhm.
fun,
Mhm.
connection,
Mhm.
safe, all those types of things. So, like you're saying, in that crisis, a lot of people reverted back to that. So, like you're saying, maybe as things are uncertain and changing, go back to the basics, which have served us well for a long time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
There's another question here. Um, you mentioned that reading for 7 minutes will help with insomnia and
Mhm.
with anxiety. If a
Mhm.
loved one can't read as much because they're older, can listening to an audiobook for 7 minutes cause the same effect?
Yeah, excellent question, and I'm glad you brought it up. So the caveat to that concept of reading is that just listening to a modulated voice, you know how when babies are 1 year old or 2 year old, we read to them and they fall. It's the same effect.
Mhm.
Audiobooks, great. Maybe it might need a little bit longer time, but how there's voice modulation, there's soothing effect in that voice that helps our brain to calm down. Again, it may not be 7 minutes, it may be 10, 15, 20 minutes, but just be aware that if an elderly is given a Kindle or an iPhone or iPad to read before bedtime, very important to know that the blue light from the screen or even TV or a computer that acts as daylight and that disrupts sleep. So basically we are not gonna wanting, we don't want to do that. We want to either have them listen to an audiobook or possible read. And even if the light is on, it should be from the shoulder, behind the shoulder, and it should be yellow light, not blue light, because any of this blue light done 2, 3 hours before bedtime can be harmful. And it could be to anybody, young or old.
Well,
Dr. Sutherland, Dr. Dada, there's another question that I got directly. Do you
okay.
have any tips for caregivers who are providing daily care
Mm-hmm.
and maintenance to their loved ones?
Mm-hmm. If you're talking about caregiver stress,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
I would say it's caregiver stress is extremely complicated, meaning it has many different layers and many different manifestations. It's a huge, huge topic, but I will try to condense it to say that instead of giving negative feedback to the person, and I know it can be super frustrating for somebody, oh, why do you do this, why did you not ask me to give you a diaper, or I'm just giving all sorts of things.
Sure.
Instead, just remembering to be calm and positive and give positive feedback in front of the person who is ailing would be super helpful. Doing things with people, and then again, if you want to look at caregiver stress at the website Alzheimer's Association, they have excellent tips regarding that. Arlene, I gave you that website. So they have that. And then the next website you want to look at is on YouTube. It's by TEPA, TEEPA, TEPA, SNOW, Snow. She is an occupational therapist, but gives huge and amazing tips on caregiver stress and how to tackle people with aging and especially with dementia.
Mhm.
So yeah, please take a look. Those are excellent videos. And then also there is, and within the Alzheimer's Association, they have caregiver stress groups. So these are like groups that you could join and learn more and help self and help your loved one as well.
Can you please repeat the TPAT website?
Yeah, so let me type it.
Okay.
TEPASNOW. Yeah, I just wrote
Mhm.
it down. Yeah.
Oh, TPAS. No. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Excellent.
And
Um,
Dr. Dada, how about your blog?
Oh, yeah, let's see.
Thank you.
It's on YouTube. Ah, am I right with my spelling here? But okay.
Ah, thank you.
Right. Well, I think our time is up unless there are any additional questions. Would certainly want to thank you so much for being a part of our video podcast on wellness, both sharing your personal journey and some of the things that you do, as well as your excellent tips for all of us, and in particularly, tips for the aging and elderly and the caregivers. So we've kind of gone full spectrum. You even mentioned your daughter, not young, I think you said 15 or 16. So full life experience of across the spectrum. Very helpful. Thank you so much. And I'm sure many of us will be incorporating. I really like the tip about reading for 7 minutes at night, especially for people with anxiety and insomnia. That was very helpful. Something I know, like I said, I will be sharing this afternoon as I'm seeing some patients this afternoon. Okay.
Thank you. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, this was